Okay. All right. As I was saying, I wanted to thank you, ladies, for sharing your stories and so many other of my students and patients that have shared their stories with me. But I was talking to you, ladies, about how nurses are, in some cases, the first person to really respond to domestic violence, to physical violence, to emotional violence, because sometimes patients have been in it, for so long, they get numb to it. They don't even know that this is abuse. It's just part of their normalcy of their day. And so, from my experience working in the correctional facilities with pediatrics and just in the general population in the hospital, I've endured a lot of patients that had domestic violence, that dealt with a lot of abuse. And sometimes it's been years. I've even had some children that dealt with some domestic violence abuse too. And sometimes kids, they don't know any better. This is their upbringing. This is part of their daily routine. They get up and they start off with that verbal abuse, and then it converts over to physical abuse. So, as an advocate for me, I just always try to let people know as soon as I'm seeing signs to pull them to the side. And sometimes people aren't willing to open up. They're not willing to share their story. They're very, reserved, and that's
Mhm.
understandable. And as a healthcare professional, I respect that. But it's our job to try to advocate and try to get, our patients to open up and let us know what's going on so we can truly help as healthcare professionals. And so I'm very blessed to be here in this space and to hear you guys' stories. I really admire you guys. You guys are
And
really strong
I
warriors.
want to add to that. And
Mhm.
Regina, this is an open conversation, so you can just jump in at any time and add what you want to it as well. But you are exactly right, Miss Nina, Nurse Nina. You see it, but it's so hard for people to admit it.
Yeah.
It is so hard for people to admit it. It's a shame that that no one else knows how you feel. It's such an embarrassment. And I don't know if you felt that way as well, Regina, with that
Yes.
embarrassment. You can share you being
Yes.
your part of being embarrassed.
Yeah, it's very embarrassing. I mean, no one wants to. That's why I'm saying, like, I went to school with like bruises on my arm, but it would be obvious that something was wrong because it would be 90 degrees out, and I have my long sleeves, and I remember one time in the eighth grade, I was just like, I accidentally like had my jacket slipped off, like it was like a,
Mhm.
a cardigan, and the girls next to me, I heard her whisper to her friend, she's like, she got bruises on her arm, she got bruises on her arm, and I just felt so embarrassed, like this is just ridiculous. I am in the eighth grade, literally going to school covering up things, so you don't want to talk about it because you feel judged. You know that you're doing wrong, and it's like you know that it's wrong, but you don't know how to get out because you're afraid. You don't know, what the future looks like. So it is hard to talk about, but I think when you get so tired of it, because it took me time. I had to get really tired. And when I got to the point where I'm like, I am tired, I don't care what anyone has to say, like I have to get out of this and I want to talk about it because I understand. I know God has a plan. That's why He allowed me to go through because now I can sympathize with women. It's different when you
Right.
haven't been through it, but when you can say, "I know exactly what you feel." Like that's like when people lose a parent or a child.
You
I can't
know.
tell you how that feels, but this, I know exactly what you're
You
feeling.
know.
Yeah.
You know exactly. You know. Uh, I remember going to work one day with a black eye, and I had a patch on my eye, like one of those Zorro type
Like a
patches. I
pirate.
remember going to morning meeting, and you know what you can laugh about now, you cried about so much until you have to find laughter in it. And my boss looked at me and she was like, "Go home, just go home." She
Yes.
knew that I wasn't making a fashion statement, and it don't heal overnight. A bruise don't heal overnight. So you have to go
Mm-mm.
back to work. Because keep in mind, I said I was the breadwinner. So because not only was I being physically abused or and verbally abused, I feel I was being financially abused as well. Because if you're not bringing nothing in and you waiting for my paycheck to come and you driving my car and you living under my roof and I'm paying for your habits, that's financial abuse right there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I still had to go to work because the bills didn't stop.
Right.
And my best friend, and she's still my best friend right now today. She's like, she has never seen anyone with a black eye before, and she's a half a decade younger than I am, and she was just distraught. Like I never seen nothing like that. It made her nervous and crying, like made her feel afraid to even see him, to come up there, knowing what he was doing to me. So with that being said, it's hard to talk about, and people know when you're being abused,
Yeah.
because walking in the victim shoes, as me and Regina walking in the victim shoes, we hit it. But as survivors, we know, we know the signs,
Yeah.
so to speak, we know the conversations, we know the right words to say to other people when asked.
Mhm.
So, is there a moment of strength of courage, Regina, in your journey that you you are particularly proud of?
Yes, I am proud of just making a decision because a lot of people they don't make the decision, whether that's for the kids, the financial, whatever. I am just proud that I trusted God when He told me to do it, when He gave me grace, because He warned me
Mm.
beforehand, and I still made the decision. And His grace, He carried me. But I am proud that I was bold enough to say, you know what, enough is enough. And when I came to the point of it's just not about me. I understand, God, that you have a much bigger plan. It's not just about me. So I'm going to do what you told me to do. I'm going to trust you. And I'm proud of that because had I not done that, my life would look so totally different. Not even just my life, but other people who I've been able to encourage and help their life, because like our life is not about us. And when you understand that, like your purpose and your plan, like the plan that God has for you, is not about you. That's why we can be so discouraged. We can be going through things,
Right,
but we can encourage someone else while we're going through our own struggles because it's not about us. And
right,
we are all put on this earth for a purpose, and it's God's purpose. And if we're not fulfilling that, what are we here for?
Right.
absolutely, absolutely right. And as you said before, uh, on the first half of this segment, on the first half, it really takes prayer and powerful prayers and strength and belief and faith in God to get you through what you're getting through. It
Mm-hmm.
is abnormal. Being abused is abnormal. That
Yes.
is that is not a normal thing to go
Yes.
through this. No one should have to go through being hurt, bullied, beaten, and left broken by an individual.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said earlier, the courage, the particular moment that got me through the journey was my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I have a sister. She was not even she was not even letting it go that I was being abused. She was holding me accountable. You're staying there, you allowing your kids to stay there, then you just as bad. She was holding me accountable. And I would get
Mm-hmm.
so angry at her because it's like you blaming me for what's going on. And I'm the one that's like she couldn't understand. But it wasn't that she couldn't understand, she wasn't accepting it. She wasn't
Yes.
accepting what I was going through there.
Yes.
So,
Yeah,
um,
that's true. And I know the moment that if you, I may have misunderstood your question, but the thing that made me leave was a moment when I finally did the divorce paperwork. I kept going back and forth. I kept changing the court date, kept because I was afraid. I didn't know what the future would look like. We have three kids and everything. So I remember being at work and I called them the last time I said, I want to see if I can change my court date again. And that was right before Thanksgiving. And they said, well, if you do it, we can change it again. That was like the third or fourth time, but we will have to do it next year because of the holiday season. And that was like the first time, like I grew up in church, knew God all my life, but that was the first time I really heard God speak to me. And I hung up that phone when I got off the phone with the lady at the courthouse. And I heard God so clearly say, either you're going to let this marriage die or you're going to let your ministry die. And
Mm.
After that, it was like a light bulb just struck. Like I was like, oh, I am done. There is no way that I know that it sounded like God was like in the room, right, standing right next to me. Like that's how clear it was. And I began to be afraid because I said, now I'm taking God's grace for granted. I may not even live to see my kids grow up, and I don't love nobody more. I don't love this man more than I love my children and what God has for
Right.
my life. So that was the moment that really just, I mean, because I'm saying I was going back and forth about 9 months, changing the date. But after that, I said, nope.
And you know what, Regina, that's the norm. That's the norm for a victim because they have so much going through their head, like
Yes,
because they're so beat down, they're so battered, and they're so broken until they feel that they can't make it without the person. So
yes,
it's so funny because you said you keep letting time go by, month after month you go by, and you keep putting things off, and God spoke to you, and and uh and told you had to make a choice. So he put you in that corner as well. Just
yes,
as he put me in the corner through my children.
right.
Okay, you're not listening to me, but I know what's gonna mess with your head. I'm gonna
Yep.
come through your kids and I would say, hey,
The mouth of babes.
they're gonna make a choice. Either
Yes.
they're
Yes,
gonna stay with their nana or they're gonna stay with you. And I know you don't want to let those kids go because I know how much you love those kids.
yes,
Even like I said, even if that was hard. But let me tell you how God worked. Let me tell you how God worked. Uh, the decision was hard. My daughter had already gave me the ultimatum. I had already told him he had to go. So he knew it. So what did he do? He ran and found somebody else. He ran and found somebody else. And honey, this man, that that was the straw that breaks the camel back. He had somebody else to take care of him. He says, and his last words he said walking out my house is, because I would say, hey, nobody else is going to put up with this. Nobody else is going to want you. Who else is going to financially support your habit? Give you a car to drive, buy your clothes, give you a roof over your head. Nobody else is going to do that except for me. And you know what he told me on his way out the door? You said nobody would want me except for you, but I found another fool just like you. He spit at me, spit,
wow,
and rolled out his mouth
wow.
and
Oh,
said,
I
just
just know
what you
you
said,
wanted to
nobody's
just,
never gonna want
Yes.
ooh, I would have just wanted to, ooh, like, Lord, help me not to kill this man. Oh
me.
my God.
And and
Wow.
when he did that, Monday morning, I was at the courthouse. If nothing else pushed me that day, I'll never forget. It was the day after Father's Day.
Woo.
And if nothing else pushed me that day, I went to the courthouse. I was there at 7 o'clock, and somebody had to get me some papers. I didn't want nothing or anything. I just wanted to be out.
Yes.
And they prolonged it. And you know what? I got out. I got out, and I did not look back. And it was just my children and I. And that's
Thank God.
all that I needed was my children and myself and my
Yes.
family. And
Yes.
that was the piece for me. That did it. So we all have stories, Nina. And I know you see so many stories. So I'll give you a chance to speak now, Nina. And then we have one more question that Regina and I are going to discuss. And I tell you, this it was a great discussion tonight because
Yes, it was.
somebody needs to hear that because somebody needs to see the aftermath. See,
Yes.
Regina and I, the after our journey after the being the victim, they have to see successful women and men as survivors
Yes.
and the strength that we have. And then afterwards, I will tell a little bit more about me, and Regina will tell about her, and Nina, you'll have an opportunity to talk after you talk now.
Yeah, I just want to speak to healthcare providers that do have patients that we have a lot of patients that have domestic violence abuse going on actively, and sometimes they don't want to open. I think for me as a professional, the most important role for me as a nurse and other healthcare professionals is for us to listen. A lot of times if you listen, you can capture on things that's going wrong. And I'm glad like you guys are willing to open up. So I want to really advocate to students. There's a lot of nursing students that's going through domestic violence too. While in the nursing program, I had a lot of friends that were going through domestic violence while they're trying to be a nurse because they were going to nursing school, like their husbands and fiancés didn't want them to level up. So they would get abused just because they were trying to do better for themselves. So I just want to just say for healthcare professionals, please, listen to our, I know we're busy and we're trying to take care of everybody and do all these tasks that we have to do.
Mm.
But I want them to just understand the importance of taking that time and listening to your patients. And when you do hear those key indicators of something's wrong, or you feel something is wrong, or you see something is wrong, definitely speak up on our patients' behalf. A lot of times nurses they scared because maybe they have witnessed domestic violence themselves. And when they see other patients going through it, they don't want the patient to get, they don't want the husband, the hit, or the fiance, whoever the partner is, to injure the patient, like during hospitalizations, anything, or to be embarrassed. So they won't say anything on their behalf. But I just want to really push that importance that it is important for us as healthcare providers to be advocates to our patients, support them in all kind of ways. And for all the even some of my students currently now going through domestic violence, and I'm able to help some of them transition, out of
Right.
their domestic violence, thank God, just through time of them opening up to me. And it took time. The people that's coming to me, talking to me, and I don't know why, but people feel very open talking to me. So I really appreciate that. Um, but it takes time to build that rapport with a person for them to feel open enough to really explain and tell you exactly what's going on. And I really do appreciate that. But definitely, if you're going through domestic violence, verbal, financially, emotional abuse, find somebody and let somebody know what's going on and be open to helping. Even if you feel like this is not the time, you may not want to get out right now. You may not feel like you need to leave right now, but it is still good to get out and tell somebody what's going on. Even if it's just a friend, a family member, or even if it's Chat GPT, getting on Chat GPT,
Right.
telling them, what's going on, where do I go, what kind of help do I need? And when you're ready, execute that assistance. When you're ready, tell that person, tell that friend, tell your doctor, tell the healthcare professional, because there's a lot of help that's out there that people don't know. And sometimes I feel like my students that have told me they just feel so isolated. They feel like it's so locked in. They don't feel like they have anybody they can talk to. And a lot of
Right.
it is, they are embarrassed, but you still have to like just push through that barrier and get out and communicate with somebody, even if it's not a person. Like I said, Chat GPT, get out there and do that. I'm gonna send you Bridget too. I'm a certified AI nurse consultant, and I help different small businesses and hospitals create different tools that can help with
Right.
different problems, real life problems that we deal with. So I
Mhm.
did create a GPT I'll share with you. You can share it to your viewers for any women or men that's going through domestic violence, even children. Just a
Right.
resource. It's just something for them to speak to. They can put in their zip code and it'll find local resources for them in their
Okay.
areas, and just
Mhm.
different templates of things that they can do to realize, okay, is this truly emotional abuse? Is this truly physical abuse that I'm going to? Because sometime as a child, some of the children that I've come in contact with that does have physical and emotional abuse, sometimes they don't know it. They
Right.
don't know it
Right.
because this is part of their daily norm. Their father is jumping on top of them every day. Their father is slapping them every morning. Their father is belittling them, talking about one mole they have on their face every day. So it's part of their norm. They don't know, but they have the feeling like something is going on, but they don't know what to do about that feeling. So I
Right.
just want to come from that standpoint
Okay.
as an advocate, that I'm
Okay.
very just grateful that people open up to me, and I love what I do. And reach out if there's anything I can help with too.
Yeah,
And thank you,
yeah,
Bridget.
because to me, it's not enough. It's the word is not out enough about domestic violence. It's still
Yes.
kind of suppressed, so to speak. So it needs to be out. It needs to be more awareness going because domestic violence fall under domestic violence and intimate partner violence falls under so many levels. It's more than physical, it's more than emotional, it's more
Right.
than verbal, it's also sexually as well.
Yes.
People don't
Yes.
realize that just because they are married to someone and they're being abused, it
Mhm.
no means no in any relationship. So it's
Yeah.
a lot of people out there that are being sexually abused too. They get beat up and then they have to, deal with their partner, being sexually active with them. They don't want it or whatever, but they can't say no because they're afraid to say no. So all of that plays a part in domestic violence. Domestic violence is, if your spouse is out there, having affairs and everything on you. That's a
Yeah.
part of domestic violence as well. People do not realize that, but that's something else that takes your self esteem down and makes you feel less than. Just as I stated, with my ex husband, he went out. He said he had a fool. He said I couldn't find nobody, but I found somebody that was just as fool as you. So I'm out of here. And they find that person when they're on the out. Then they know they're on the outs. Like in my case, when the kids spoke, he knew that was it. Because I love my kids more than anything else in this world.
Yes.
So they begin to find somebody else to be that person to finish crush you with. And just know if you on that road to get out, don't look back. Don't
Mm-hmm.
let nothing else, don't let them say things to kind of sweetheart you back in the way like, oh, they love me and I'm gonna give him or her another chance because it's a lot of men, it's 1 out of 4 men that are victims of domestic violence as well.
Yep.
I had a gentleman that was supposed to come on the show tonight. And he said, you know what, Miss Bridget? He said, thank you for inviting me. He said, but I just can't do it. I just can't come on the show just yet. And he said, I'll see my friends, they'll see this, and my family, know this. And I don't want them knowing that. So he's embarrassed
Mhm.
about it. But the things that he told me that he's going through with, getting hit with glasses and getting cut with knives and and he's still there because he's still there for his kids. But I tell anybody, kids do not keep a marriage.
Mhm.
If anything, you're hurting your kids. And Regina, I'll let you speak on that.
Yeah, so definitely I started to see like even, at a young age when my son was in school, like his behaviors, and he was a good kid, but just the behavior issues at school or the behavior issues between your kids, you see them fighting and things and they're angry all the time, and they're seeing these things. You can try to hide it and but the kids know and they see, of course, they were involved with, sometimes having to call the cops and things like that. So I understood like either way there is already damage, even with the children. They've already been damaged either way, whether you stay or you go, because of course you can't go back and change what they have seen and what happened, but you can make a decision and say no more. Because you know what, if you stay just like I did with my father, seeing him verbally abuse my mom, I thought that was normal. In my mind, I thought when my mom was able to stay with my dad, they make it work, even though it was not. But I had no other example of marriage or how things should be. So I wanted to be like, have my kids with their father, have my family together. But all in all, the children were affected more if you stay than if you leave. If you leave, guess what you can do? You can get them therapy, you can get them counseling. No, you cannot undo what they've seen, but you can get them help to get them on a different path and a different trail. Because if
Exactly.
we don't break that cycle, it's gonna just continue to repeat itself. And you
Exactly.
can't tell your kids not what not to do or who not to be with or what not to marry if you're still staying in it.
Exactly. If they still see it. And
Yes.
and and I would say after my divorce, I had to go to counseling. And I'm not
Yes.
ashamed to tell anybody that I had to go to counseling. And
Yes.
and my children had to go to counseling because we
Yep.
had to get right. We had to get right and we had to get back. Like you said, you can't change what your kids are seeing, but you can help them. There are counselors out there, there's therapists, the school counselors. People are there to help once you open up. My
Yes.
counselor told me after he saw what the kids went through from what they told him because we did a family counselor and they had to talk with them one on one. Then they talked to me, of course, one on one. And he said his question was, why did you stay so long?
Mm-hmm.
Why did you stay so long in it? And he said, because you was a successful one. You know, the kids look up to you, but like you said, when somebody asks you that, they're not in your shoes. So they don't know how heavy it is to take that fee to be able to
Exactly.
put one foot in front of the other.
Mm-hmm.
So, Regina, my last question for you, and I guess for me, since we are the ones running the show tonight, and if I have other guests that'll call me and say, then I will, have them on as well. This is an extended version because this is a topic that needs to be discussed. I know
Yes.
that October is also Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we
Mm-hmm.
did breast cancer in our previous show, but breast cancer awareness is so much more known than domestic violence.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much known than domestic violence. So we're gonna just talk tonight to these victims that need to hear our voices,
Yes.
and we're gonna go from there. So what? My last question is, what does healing look like for you? And are there any goals you are working towards? What does
Yeah,
it?
so healing for me looks like, first of all, forgiveness, forgiving yourself and forgiving your abuser. As
Mm-hmm.
hard as it is, you have to walk in forgiveness. You have to. Um, After we got divorced, he's really not around with the kids, and like he's just out here doing whatever he's doing. But I still pray for him, and I ask God every day to help me to not be bitter, help me not to be mad at him, because at the end of the day, he needs your help. And guess what? It's not too late for him. He's not too far gone. If he still has breath in his lungs, God can still draw him in and forgive him, and he can share his testimony. He can share his story about how he did this and how God changed his life. So forgive. That is the main thing that I have to every day walk in that, because I find myself sometimes thinking about things and I do get angry, and things thoughts still
Mm-hmm.
come, but I have to make a choice to forgive, because forgiveness, I understand that when I forgive him, it's helping me to be able to move forward. So I am that's the main thing. I would have to say that's the main thing. And
And
I
you
am just
can't
walking
move
towards,
forward. You
yes,
cannot absolutely move forward until you
yes,
forgive. And say, you know what, Father?
yes,
I had to say, I stretch my hand to thee. No other help that I know. And
yes,
in order for me to start loving myself and to move forward, and it took time. Forgiveness
yes,
takes time. I had to forgive myself for allowing
yes,
myself to be treated that way
yes,
before I could forgive him. And I had to regain the love for myself.
yes,
And once I found myself, and I would say rehabilitated myself to start that growing again, then I was able to forgive, because there's nothing that he could do to hurt me anymore
yes.
or to stop me anymore. So you are absolutely right, Regina. Regina, I enjoyed. Tell us a little bit about your services that you offer, Regina.
So I have a book. I'm an author, a speaker. I just wrote my book. It's called Finishing Touch by Regina Latrice. And it's just my journey from the age of 13 up until 27. And also have a online women's clothing boutique. It's Misfits Clothing Boutique. And I also have a women's group. I haven't named it quite yet. It's just kind of like the Misfits group. But where we get together, we go. Sometimes we have lunch together, and I have events like every couple of months. I just did one on Sunday. It was
Mm-hmm.
a worship of a weary event where we got together and just, came together as women, share testimonies and just encouragement. So I'm doing things to like get women together, all groups, all different type of women who are going through different walks of life, but just to show them that like there is hope after divorce, after abuse, that you can still live your life no matter what you've gone through. Like God works all things together for your good. So he has a plan. Like all of the mess that we went through, he still has a plan for it, and he's still gracious and forgiving. And I just want women to know, like, walk in who God called you to be and seek God for the purpose that He has for your life. Because it's so many women out here who are hurting and that are just waiting for you to make the decision to say, yes, God, I'm going to do what you call me to do. And I'm going to be the voice for so many people who are afraid to speak.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Nina, go ahead and tell about you.
So I'm a nurse. I help all kind of different people, but I mostly right now. My focus is education. So I help create nurses from caregivers. I help do that in a quick, timely fashion to generate nurses and help them work into specializations like women's health and pediatrics. So that's my main focus of what I do. I'm also in a new company called AI Divas, where we help people integrate AI into their healthcare systems and make tools as the one I'll share with you for domestic violence victims so they can get the support that they need with just a simple somebody that you don't have to be intimate with, don't have to know, no judgment there. But what I want to just leave with, piggyback on two things that you also said about the behavior about children just seeing it and doing it. And I've been able to see domestic violence from both avenues, from the victim and also the aggressor. And what I've learned through all my years in healthcare with the aggressor, a lot of time it is a learned behavior. So kids, they grow up seeing this. They grow up seeing this domestic violence, and they just think that is normal, right? So they naturally do that. So for most aggressors, it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of therapy for them to work through, all the things that they're going through. And then lastly, I just want to say, if you are going through domestic violence, sometimes a lot of victims that I have encountered, they'll say, okay, Nina, I'm going to leave, but I have a timeline. I'm going to leave when I finish school, or I'm going to leave when I get this job. I'm going to leave when my baby is 4 or 5 years old. And that's good to have that plan. But truly, from a healthcare professional standpoint, if you are going through domestic violence, and I think the best time to leave is now. Is not, you don't always have the luxury of creating this timeline for everything to work out, because I've had patients where they had this plan, and I've had a patient I've been, taking care of her for years, and she stopped coming to the hospital, and it's because she was dead. The aggressive had killed her. So I just
Wow.
want to, speak to the viewers. If you are going through domestic violence and you feel like you need to get out, just get out now. Don't create a plan. Don't wait for everything to work out. Don't wait for things to be perfect. Get out now. Seek help. Get out as soon as you can.
Wow. Thank you so much, Nina. Regina, thank you so much for being part of BYOB. And Nina, thank you so much for being part of BYOB. We have Missouri in the house, and we have California in the house tonight. And of course, I'm Briggett, your host. And I would like to say at the end, I definitely agree with what Nina says. Don't wait. The time is now. If you are
Yes.
being abused in a domestic violence relationship, do not wait till tomorrow. Tomorrow is not promised to you. You never know what's going to happen before the next day. So if you're in that abusive relationship, get out now.
Yes.
Thank you, ladies, for coming on the show with me tonight. I look forward to staying in touch with both of you ladies.
Thank
And as
you.
always, to my audience, love yourself in spite of your flaws. You are beautiful. God loves you,
Yes.
and you love yourself as well. And this is it for the night. Y'all have a good night. And until next time, I'll see you guys next week in BYOB with Bridget. Thank you.